Okay. Hi. All right. Well, we had a little technical difficulties here, and as a result, this is now a recorded webinar rather than a live. But that's okay. You know, technology, right? We can't live with or without it these days, I guess. Anyways, please welcome Dr. Kylie Burton. She is an amazing um, coach. I wouldn't call you a coach. What would your title be? I mean, you teach other healthcare practitioners how to build their businesses, right? And how to get more clients and how to leverage their expert status, right?
Yeah, I'm a business consultant for practitioners who, especially for those of them who have a bigger dream than just being in their brick and mortar practice and they want to do some virtual stuff.
Very cool, very cool. And you and I have been working together many years now, about
We've done
four
a
or
lot
five
of
years or
books
something.
together.
Yeah. And let's see, we've done your personal book. We've done 5 group books. We've got 2 other group books in the workings, right? So let's talk about your program and your course. So first of all, tell me a little bit more about your program and what you're doing with your practitioners.
So I started Foundation Institute. I started it, we rebranded at the end of 2024 underneath my name. And I brought blood work to the table in a new way. Just regular good old labs that we all see, that our patients keep getting told that they feel like crap. I turned it into a gold mine, not just a gold mine of answers for patients, but a gold mine of answers for our businesses too. And I've been teaching practitioners how to incorporate that into their brick and mortar practice, but also to use that as a platform to go virtual and expand virtual if they so choose. That said, I was in the clinical zone for a couple of years until I was like, wait a second, they need more help with the business side than they do the clinical side. And so now I kind of marry the two of them together with a very strong, dominant business consulting side where I help them, create a lead magnet and build an email list because so many are just referral based and their whole entire business is structured upon that next referral coming in. And I don't know about you, but I would not appreciate putting my business into somebody else's hands. I want to have a little bit more control of it. And then I hear a lot of times people are saying, I'm stuck in this insurance model. I want to get out. I don't know how. I have the path out of the insurance model. I hear chiropractors say, I want to start this gut program, make it a group program. I don't know how. Great, that's my expertise. Let's turn it into a stellar group program and where you can change, dozens of lives at one time, not just one person. So that's really my background and how I ebb and flowed from clinical into business. And business is my jam. I could talk business and create things for people all day long.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's go back in time just a little bit and let's talk about when you did your first solo book before the group books. And so I just want to talk first a little bit about your solo book, and then we'll come back to the group books. But with that very first book, why did you write it?
So many people kept telling me that I needed to write a book. Okay, I'll write a book. But it's one thing to write something, it's a whole nother to actually turn it into a hard copy book and have it on Amazon and have it out into the world, which of course is your expertise. But I thought when I wrote that book that it was going to bring me more patients because I was running my patient side business. I wasn't really into the practitioner side at that point. And the story flipped where more practitioners got a hold of my book and now they wanted to learn how I was doing what I was doing because in 2019 I went virtual. I was sick with a pregnancy. There was no way I was going to be able to keep this brick and mortar office up and going. So I went virtual. Well, we all know what happened in 2020. So practitioners, colleagues started asking me as a chiropractor, how did you go virtual? because chiropractors require hands-on adjustments.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can't really reach through the screen to crack somebody's back.
No. So my virtual platform was blood work, and that became probably I'm probably up to 1,000 practitioners now where that platform, that blood work component has become their platform as well. Um, yeah. So I started writing that book because somebody told me to. Lots of people told me to. I had no idea what it would come out of it.
And
But you do one thing and it opens up doors, it opens up opportunities, and you pick which opportunity you want to, which door you want to walk through.
oh, absolutely. So when you first started writing that book, did you have any fears around it? Or worries or overwhelm or concerns? I mean, were there any sticking points for you to getting it done?
Oh my gosh, writing a book is a major undertaking. And I remember thinking, like, just get this off my plate. Now, when it comes to the four-letter word we call fear, I have always just shoved it in the passenger seat and moved on because it's always going to be there. But I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm not going to let it prevent me from not just like being seen, but reaching that success, that freedom that I want for both me and my kids and my family. I'm going to just go do the thing, no matter how terrifying doing the thing is, and stick with it. So there were, roadblocks along the way, but there was never a question in my mind on whether or not it was going to be finished and be out into the world. It's just like when I start doing something, I'm going to finish it. And I think that's the mentality you have to have with a book. Like if you're going to start it, you're going to finish it. You're going to get through all of the humps and all of the bumps and all of the darts that come your way.
Nice. And what was your writing process?
Yeah, I took the shortcut route and I took podcast episodes because I had already recorded my podcast and had several episodes. I've found the best ones, the ones that got listened to the most, but also ones that went through the outline of the book that I wanted to follow. And I had AI transcribe it. Now, that was back when AI wasn't as big as it is right now. I mean, I remember using Otter.ai to transcribe it, and that was the only AI thing I'd ever tried. And I didn't realize at the time it was AI. It was just like, oh, this transcription service, you know? So I had Otter AI transcribe it, and then my assistant and I went back through it all because you speak in a different way and you have words come up and sentences maybe, are half a sentence and then you switch a thought. So you have to do some cleanup with it. But that's where I started was what content do I already have that can be book material?
Mm, nice. And and now let's move to talking about the group book because then you started doing your programs and as part of your launch you offered a chapter in a group book, right?
Uh-huh.
And so tell me more about that. I mean, both what led you to the idea and then what were the results of that offer?
Oh, goodness. So I ran a live launching, I would sell it via a live launch. And with those live launches, there's a couple key components to making them successful. And one of them is to have a fast action bonus. And I had tried a couple different things with my previous live launches where it's like, hey, get an hour extra time with me, give me, just a few different things, and they never really stuck. Then I launched a co-authored book in which the first, 18 people who joined the program could participate by writing a chapter and become an international best-selling author, which would give them credibility, authority, it would give them a marketing platform. Little did I know what I was onto because that was a fast action bonus that caught wildfire. There was one launch we did, and I don't know if you remember, Sandy, but we were only going to do one book.
Yeah.
And then it came out to where we ended up having to do two books for one launch because we had so many requests from it. We would get people on sales calls during our launch live window, and they would be like, is there still spots open in the book? No. Like
Oh,
it was
wow.
gone the day we launched it. We'd open up the doors. But we knew that that was such a key component for people joining that we ended up opening up 2 books. So, like I said, you never know what move you make and what doors it's going to open because you were willing to make the move. And that's what we did with our co-authored books, our group books was let's give colleagues a platform to utilize their and to send out their message.
And that first launch, I mean, you made a crazy amount of money on it, right? It was like 365,000 or something like that. I mean, that was hugely successful.
Yeah. Yeah, we spent 13,000 in ads. Mind you, I was 6 figures in the hole when I launched that.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, I don't even know if this is gonna go through the credit card, but we're gonna shoot because I got nothing left at this point. I'm a risk taker, and I've learned the hard way on some risks to take and some risks I should never have taken. And that's one of those that I should have never taken at that point in my journey, and left me 6 figures in the hole. So we got some ads running. We had a plethora of people. I don't remember the exact number of signups, but I sold a $5,500 program and we had 365,000 come out of it, which
Wow.
meant I was no longer in the hole and I was now in the positive, some good chunks.
Woohoo.
Um, but that book was a big component of, hey, let's get people to act in the moment while we're on Zoom. That was the first time I got paid before my Zoom call was even over.
Wow.
And that's a good feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the process of now you've got these authors and you've offered them the group book. What was next? I mean, how did you get everybody to turn in their chapters on time? How did you get them to turn them in fairly camera ready? I mean, the logistics of it and making it actually happen.
One, I don't give them a choice. You either have your chapter to me by this deadline or you are not in the book. And we learned we're now on what, like volume 6 or something.
Yeah.
Um, we started off with volume 1 and then I had an assistant, Kelly. She spent, I can't even tell you how many hours she spent going through people's chapters and doing a lot of editing and proofing. And we found that some practitioners they have a knack for writing, while others, it's not their expertise. So I remember she would email me or text me and be like, we need to fix this chapter. What do we do about it? Like, it's not going to put this expert into a positive light. So we had to do some reworking of some things early on, but then we also learned that the more we do this, the more guidance we give people. Um, Maybe we have like a 1 pager that kind of explains to them, let's write a hook, and then we're going to write a story, then we're going to have some tips, and then provide the call to action. So there's structure to it now. And then we have some ideas on what they can write about. So there's a little bit of structure to it, but you'd be surprised at how little structure there is still. And then there's just guidelines and the deadline. You either have it to me or you don't. And if you don't, that was your decision.
And so from that first book with the learning curve of authors turning in basically un, unlooked at rough drafts,
Yes.
and the last iteration that we did, that they came much more prepared and less nightmare for Kelly, right?
Uh-huh.
How did you refine the process and how did you refine the messaging to your authors?
Well, we ended up giving them like previous books, the previous volumes, so that they could see what others have done. And then we also directed them that we did not want to receive the first copy, the first reading. They had to give it to somebody else and have them do the reading. Now, we weren't giving them, like they weren't going to go hand their work to somebody else for grammar. They were handing their work to somebody else for the content, to see how the content and the flow of it went. We would take care of the grammar side. So just having that step in between the rough draft and the draft that they handed us. And we also made the rule where once it's in our possession, you do not get it back.
Yeah, that's an important
And
one.
we had that rule from the very, very beginning. So they had the deadline to give it to us, and then once it was in our hands, it was ours. Um, if Kelly made some edits, she'd like let them know, like, hey, these are the edits I made. But other than that, it was basically, and I think the problem we had was with that first book, and then ever since then it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But they had to go through somebody else for the content and then hand us off a second or third draft, not the first.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And then, like I said,
and then
once
of
it's in
course
our
our team
hands,
would
they're
do
not
another
getting it
round of
back.
proofreading on it.
They don't get an email and say, hey, I want to change this paragraph. Like, not too late.
Right, yeah, because otherwise that book would never come out. I mean, you
It
could
would
be
never
going
come
back and
out,
forth
right?
with
We'd
that many
always be second.
authors.
And it's the same thing with a solo book too. Like you would always be second guessing yourself. You can always add something new because you're learning something every day. When in reality, it's like just get it done and get it out into the world, and they can watch you as you flourish.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you need to make it as good as you possibly can, but at a certain point you have to say, okay, good is good enough, and this is going, we can change it later, but we're gonna release it.
Yes. I think with my first solo book, I had the call to action at the end of every page or every end of every chapter. And then I got to the point where I was like, wait, that guide that I'm giving away isn't bringing in clients. So remove the guide. And then we had to alter the call to action. I don't even know what it is right now. Um, but we've had to alter things since we launched it. On rare occasion, I still get an email address, an email. I don't know how they find my email, but they're like, hey, I was looking for this free guide. I'm like, well, it doesn't exist anymore. Use this one instead.
And so what did you find were like the biggest challenges in organizing the group book?
I think you definitely need to have an assistant to do it. Like if you're running a business and you're running the sales and the fulfillment like I was, I needed somebody in the back end to take care of the book. And I think that's a simple, like even if it's your daughter, a teenage daughter, or a friend, or somebody who can just take that off your plate, or at least take a chunk of it off your plate. The other piece is if you don't have somebody, have a system
Mm.
like AI and GHL. You can create your own automated system completely without a person. So system or a
So
person, take it off your plate if you're fulfilling everything else on your business.
between that first group book and this fifth one, I mean, what other lessons did you learn in streamlining it and, making it easier on yourself?
Oh. One, I mean, what we've already talked about a little bit, like you got to have rules.
Right.
If they don't have the chapter to you by that date, they don't get in. Once they have the chapter to you, it's yours. They're not getting it back. Um, simple things, just simple deadlines and sticking to them.
Hmm.
No matter how many emails you get, oh no, I don't want this. I'm like, it's gonna be, and then you have to, of course, reassure the practitioners. I'm not like, well, it sucks for you, you know. No, I'm gonna be like, no, your chapter is great. Like, stop second guessing your chapter. We read through all of them. Kelly is very particular. She gave every single one of them the green light. So if you got the green light from Kelly, it's great. And you have to do a lot of reassurance if they're second guessing themselves. And it's human nature to do that. So.
And then what was it like working with us, with my team, and, how did we take some of that pressure off of you guys?
Oh, I just hand it over to you. You do the rest.
I mean, I know
I'm
we
like,
try
here,
really hard to
Sandy,
give
we
you the
got the
easy button.
content. Now take it and do your thing with it. And that's the biggest roadblock for people. Like they'll say, well, I can figure it out. I can self-publish it. Yeah, but there are so many intricate details of creating the book, like the cover, the design on the cover, the tab, I don't even know what it's called, the back cover, the title of contents, like there are just snippets of writing a book and actually fulfilling and creating the book that need to go into a professional's hands.
Nice. And then I mean, besides that first initial amazing launch, what results have you seen both, from the series of books and I guess both in your launches and in your business, on the larger scale?
Well, it's definitely built credibility and authority for me. The one thing with a co-authored book is that my name is on the cover. Everybody else's is on the inside, right? There's some reasons and some why to that. But that said, I have not had a practitioner who was upset that they participated in it. I get more gratitude over anything. Like, I actually am in a book, and that would have never happened if they hadn't participated in this co-authored one. Because writing a solo book is a big task. Writing a chapter, that's a different story. People can write a chapter and okay, I can name two practitioners, but that's because I've seen their true colors since then. Um, Everybody else has been so grateful for it and very thankful that they participated.
Nice. So what advice do you have? Well, first of all, I mean, why do you think it's important to have a book at all? Or to be a part of a multi-author book? I mean, why do you think it's important to publish in one way or another?
If you are in the online space, it is your business card. And it is more powerful than an actual physical business card. There's so much noise. And I mean, you can get on space online and find anything that you want. So what makes you more credible than somebody else? Um, Now, the problem that I see in the near future, and I'm sure you're seeing this too, Sandy, is that we just think that AI can write us a book.
Yeah.
AI is not you. AI can't write things the way that you would write things. So just be cautious about just assuming that AI can write your next book for you. But a book gives you that credibility, that authority, and it's that business card that you need in the online space.
And
And for me, it was a huge lead magnet. It was a huge door of opportunities that I didn't even know were going to be coming my way, but they came.
yeah, that's what I always say too, is you have no idea how your book is going to change your life. It may not be in the way that you think, but it does. I mean, who knew when I wrote my first book that I would transition from balloons to being a book lady?
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for others who are thinking of doing either a solo book or a group book?
If you're thinking about it and you feel the nudge in your heart, pull the trigger. Like, the longer you wait, the more you're going to regret it because, like we've talked about, there are opportunities that will come to you because of your book. And if you don't have a book, those opportunities will not come.
Nice. And is is there anything else that you'd like to share that I didn't think to ask about that, you want to say about books?
There's a lot of people in the book space. Sandy knows what she's doing. She and her team, like, I just had this idea and they made it reality and even better than that. And then she would come to me like, hey, you need a publishing company. I need a what? We need to make you like a branded publishing company if you're going to do all these co-authored books. Um, so there's just these details that you don't know exist that you need Sandy for. So reach out to Sandy. Let her
Oh,
actually help you turn your book into reality. And if you want to do some co-authored books, great, do it. Like I said, they are a very big hit when it comes to these fast action bonuses.
thank you. Now, if people want to learn more about you or about your programs, where can they find out about you?
Well, I have another book coming out called Foundational Medicine. I have a podcast called Foundational Medicine Business. Uh, those would be the two places to come learn more about me. And if you are a practitioner in the alternative space, I would love to help you take your dreams and turn it into reality. Take your idea and turn it into income.
So, if somebody wants to find out more about your course and having you help them build their practice, Foundational Medicine is where they would find you?
Foundational Medicine Business, the podcast. Go
Foundational
there and it'll
Medicine
have all the
Business,
details.
the podcast. Everything's spelled exactly as it sounds.
Yep, Foundational Medicine Business.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Kylie, thank you so much. I'm going to turn off the recording. Don't hang up for a second, but thank you for being here with us and for answering questions and telling us about your journey.
Thanks, Sandy.